Newly appointed GRU board members were sworn in City Hall. What prompted transitions to boil over during the meeting?
And UF is celebrating 100 years of homecoming. We take you through the week's biggest events and where you can watch the festivities.
And in the world of weather, a big wardrobe change is happening a little bit later next week. Stay with me to see how you can prepare.
From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Well, good evening. This is First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Jacob Sedesse.
And I'm Natasha Holt. Thanks for joining us. 4 new GRU Authority board members will be making decisions about your bills. They were sworn in last night during the Authority's first official meeting.
WUFT's Jake Lynch was at the meeting where controversy filled the room. Jake, it was a tension-filled night for some of the new appointees.
There's confusion and anger about the board, and so many initial members living outside of the city of Gainesville. The lineup is a ratio of 4 county to 1 city, the exact opposite of what was expected and what's required for future replacements.
We have been waiting and praying for this for decades.
That was one response to the GRU Authority coming into existence. But others complained the new independent board strips the city of a key asset. 4 of 5 board members were sworn in by Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward. Only 1 lives inside the city of Gainesville, and the 5th one, who couldn't attend, also lives outside city limits.
Gainesville Regional Utilities is part and parcel of the city. It's a city-owned utility, so the city answers to its residents and its voters. So the board should be reflective of that.
Authority members Craig Carter and Tara Ezel were not named until yesterday. Governor DeSantis' appointments came in so late that they didn't even have time to print their names on today's agenda. The people in attendance were vocal with critiques, praise, and advice.
Make sure that your decisions rest on firm footing.
But one concern is that all of the legal questions could keep the GRU Authority from accomplishing its main goals of lowering rates and dealing with the debt.
The state, the attorneys, they're all going to figure that out. If I get bogged down in that, I'm not going to be able to help GRU through their next series and their next sequence.
Dr. Ezel's listed address is in a neighborhood where the electric service is provided by the Clay Electric Cooperative, not GRU. That could be disqualifying the way the law was written, even though those homes are still GRU customers for natural gas, water, and wastewater. Jake Lynch with WUFT News.
Federal agents say they caught a local man engaged in a child sex sting. Homeland Security officials alerted the Marion County Sheriff's Office to a 47-year-old Richard Heaton. They say he believed a special agent was the father of a 13-year-old girl that he wanted to exploit. After investigators received a search warrant, they found his laptop, which they say contained several images of child porn. Deputies believe Heaton has more victims. They say if you've been victimized by Heaton, call MCSO. And deputies in Bradford County have launched a month-long operation to keep children safe from sex offenders. In a Facebook post, the Sheriff's Office says Operation SHIELD will increase compliance checks by partnering with the Department of Corrections Probation Office. They say during the month of October, more children are out attending fall festivals, games, and Halloween events.
Well, MCSO officials, are honoring October as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The theme for the month is Everyone Knows Someone, meaning you probably know someone impacted by domestic violence. Officials are providing several online resources, including advice for those still in an abusive relationship. The website tells people to think of a safe place to go if an argument happens, make a safe list of people to contact, keep cash on you at all times, establish a code word or sign so that those around you know when to call for help, and think about what you will say to your partner if they become violent.
After a beautiful day, we'll see a change in temperature tonight.
Yes, WUFT's Daniella Rudolph tells us a bit more about today's weather. Daniella?
Thanks, guys. I'll have that for your Gator Growl forecast in just a second. But right now, taking a live look outside the O'Connell Center where the concert is happening this evening. Temperatures are at 86 now. We're not really going to have much rain to worry about this evening. A spot shower here or there on the walk to the concert, but it's going to be clearing up for later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now, of course, Gator Growl Jason Derulo is coming to University of Florida if you're headed out to the concert. Temperatures dropping, there we go, down to 71 this evening. Those cloudy conditions are going to remain, but as I said, not really anything to worry about in terms of rain. But coming up, I'm going to have your homecoming parade planner, a tailgate and game planner, and that big wardrobe change in just a bit.
Thanks, Daniella. We'll have a look at that homecoming stuff in a bit. But first, after a bear was spotted in a tree at the Magic Kingdom just 2 weeks ago, there's been an increase in human-bear interactions in north central Florida. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission officials say the agency is trying to address those concerns. Commission Executive Director Roger Young said the state will increase bear surveillance and set traps where needed. State reps filed legislation last week for the 2024 session that would allow people to kill bears without permits or authorization when they feel threatened or believe such force is necessary for protection.
And local seniors have a new volunteer opportunity to work with kids. The Foster Grandparent Program is looking for low-income seniors to work in schools and daycare centers. They'll work closely with students, giving them hands-on learning experiences. Volunteer Gustine Young has been with the program for about 13 years.
Oh, I love it because it motivates me really to get up in the morning time, you know, because I'm 77 years old, and it motivates me each and every morning to get up, to see their little smiling faces. And everybody calls me Grandma.
Officials with the center will provide volunteers with benefits such as meals, transportation, and socialization for volunteers. You can reach out to the John Henry Thomas Center for details.
Of course, tomorrow is the big day of the 100th UF Homecoming Parade, and you can join me and Kennedy Mason right here on WUFT-TV for coverage of it. We'll have so much to share tomorrow, but here's just a sneak peek of Lauren Miranda's recap of the 100 years of homecoming. The first homecoming parade actually dates all the way back to 1916, which replaced the Dad's Day game tradition. But it wasn't until 1923 when Gator Growl began, and homecoming as we know it today was officially established. The event invites Gators of all ages to come back and celebrate their shared history.
It's been really cool to kind of show how the Gator kind of experience is throughout the lifetime. It doesn't just end after the 4 years of college.
Tomorrow you'll hear more about some of the lost traditions that used to define the event, and you'll hear from Homecoming General Chair and WUFT alum Taylor Fishman about how it all comes together.
As Jacob mentioned, it's the 100th Gator Growl celebration, and that kicks off today. Singer Jason Derulo is headlining this year's festivities, and he's set to perform at the O'Connell Center tonight at 6. Gator Gallop and the Homecoming Festival will begin tomorrow morning with the Gator Gallop registration beginning at 9:30 and the run starting at 10:30. The festival will begin at 9:30 in the Plaza of the Americas.
Well, Natasha, with all those events going on tomorrow, organizers are going to have to get up really early to get all that preparation ready.
For sure. WUFT's Charlize Ramos tells more about the preparations it takes to pull off these big events.
100 years of homecoming means a lot to celebrate this week in Gainesville, with one of those things being the annual homecoming parade.
All eyes will be on the over 100 floats going down 13th Street and University Avenue tomorrow as the Gainesville community gathers to celebrate the 100th annual homecoming parade. With the streets behind me being closed off for the event, local businesses will be seeing more foot traffic.
162 floats to be exact. Students, alumni, and families will gather to watch the Gator Marching Band, high school bands, and other organizations showing off for the audience. The parade will start at Norman Field and travel up 13th Street, then make a right on University Avenue. As the floats pass spectators, they will also pass local businesses, Haas Kitchen being one of them. Lucas Madlin says the restaurant was busy last year, and he hopes the parade will bring them lots of business again this year.
Previous years we've been pretty busy, lots of foot traffic coming up and down University. So hopefully it'll be the same thing this year and many years to come.
Street closures will begin at 10 a.m. and will reopen at 3 p.m. Parade organizer says it takes a lot of preparation to pull off an event of this magnitude.
It's going to be a pretty important parade just given the 100th year. So our 100 year of tradition theme is really our focus for the year. We've got organizations all over Gainesville as well as North Florida being represented, and they're really going to show off their Gator pride.
The parade is the finale to an exciting week of homecoming events leading up to the big game against Vanderbilt. Charlize Ramos, WUFT News.
And that's not all the homecoming festivity stories we're focusing on.
That's right, Natasha. The Gator Band Alumni Association is actually celebrating 50 years as well. We'll show you how they're contributing to this year's homecoming festivities after this.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The Gators Alumni Band is celebrating its 50-year anniversary this week after homecoming.
They're doing so with a social media challenge and special performance. WUFT's John Carlos Chaoui is live in the studio with a look at how far the band has come over the last 5 decades.
If you've ever seen the Gator Alumni Band in action, you know the show is a very unique experience every time they perform. I spoke with the director of the band, and she's ready to show fans what it means to be a proud alumni.
Tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the Gator Band Alumni Association, and 50 years of anything is a true celebration.
A true celebration engulfed in history that Gator Alumni Band President Deborah Lynn Baker is always happy to share.
So in 1973, director of bands at the time, Frank Wicks, got a couple of alumni together and realized that alumni can go out in the community and continue to support the Gator Band and continue to spread the legacy of the Gator Band into the community and into the state of Florida.
Gator Band director Jay Watkins is excited to watch the play on the gridiron, but for him, the real action will be in the music.
And this year we've got, since it's the 50th anniversary, we've got 314 alumni who are going to be on the field with us, which is awesome. And then, because that actually is probably larger than a lot of the bands they were in when they were here. And from 22 different states, you know, folks from as far back, alumni from as far back as the 1950s, you know, through last year, will be on the field together.
And we're told this encompasses the spirit of homecoming at its core.
As a sea of alumni swarm the fields this Saturday, the generational love for the Gator Band will shine. Live in the studio, Juan Carlos Chaoui, WUFT News.
And it's a lesser-known homecoming tradition, but one that helps raise money for charity. The College of Journalism and Communications took to the skies in a dogfight against our neighbors, the College of Health and Human Performance. With paper airplanes, that is. UF employees participating in the campaign have given about $1 million per year for the past 17 years. This is the 7th time the Paper Airplane Challenge has been hosted at UF. Participants competed in 2 paper airplane categories to find out who had the farthest flown plane and who had the most creative plane. The old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, served as one of the judges. Dean of the College of Journalism and Communications, Hub Brown, said that this event is an instrumental part of community outreach.
This is a force multiplier for good in the community. You want to be able to do these kinds of things to bring people together, to make them aware of the needs, but also to have a little bit of fun and do something that brings people together. So this is a great event for that.
Organizers say the College of Journalism had the most participants and won this year's trophy. This event is part of the University of Florida's annual campaign for charity. More than $28 million have been donated to the charity campaign since 1989.
As I mentioned earlier, Kennedy and I will be here live on WUFT-TV starting at 11:45 a.m. tomorrow, and you can also watch along on our Facebook and YouTube pages. We'll be joined by so many special guests: Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward, Morning Edition's Glenn Richards, meteorologist Megan Borowski, and so many more surprise guests you won't want to miss, so be sure to tune in.
Hopefully it will remain sunny throughout Gainesville for the rest of the week.
That would be great for those homecoming festivities. Daniella?
Exactly, guys. Well, it's not going to be exactly sunny, but I'll have everything homecoming and the big wardrobe change after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
So a live look over the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium and the O-Dome, where Jason Derulo is going to be playing this evening for your Gator Growl. Now, taking a look at that radar, there's not going to be any rain, a few spot showers here and there, but you should be fine for the remainder of your evenings if you're headed out after the concert. Now, of course, homecoming, so exciting, celebrating 100 years here at the University of Florida. Here is your homecoming forecast. For your parade on your Friday, a cool start to the day at 76 degrees, temperatures rising to around 85, but again, because you're going to be outside, please drink water, stay hydrated. It is going to be a little bit over cloudy, but not really anything to worry about. Not going to be bringing any rain until the afternoon. But in terms of football, the Gators are taking on the Commodores here in the Swamp on Saturday afternoon. For that tailgate, it's going to be toasty at 87 degrees again. Please drink water, stay indoors if you can for a little, because it's going to be a toasty game. The Gators are going to be keeping that heat at that 4 p.m. kickoff. And then, of course, for our winning the home game celebration, it's going to be cool at 70 28 degrees. Now, of course, we are also tracking those tropics right here at WUFT-TV, and we still have Tropical Storm Philippe in the Atlantic. Not really anything to worry about as it makes its way up north. Not really going to be having any impacts here in the United States. Now, there is that big wardrobe change coming a little bit later on in the week. I'll have more in the 7-day outlook in just a second. We see this cold front making its way across the state toward the south. It's going to be chilly in the morning, so you're definitely going to want to crack out some of those winter wardrobes. There we go, that 7-day outlook. Look at that big drop, you guys. On Sunday, down to 76 for the high, but on Monday, our low in the morning is going to be 46 degrees, so it's going to be a really cool one. Definitely want to get those winter clothes out, because here in Florida, you know, we really love the sun in the Sunshine State, but I personally am a cold girl, so I'm really excited for this weather.
The week in high school football begins tonight with Gainesville High hosting Holt. One of these local teams is making a lot of noise on the state level. That and more in sports after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Jack Alperstein. It's Thursday and the lights are brighter than ever for the Holt's football team as the Bobcats prepare to take on Gainesville High tonight. The Bobcats remain perfect as they prepare to pounce on the Hurricanes. Sitting at 5-0 on the season, this Holt's program is ranked 3rd in the state of Florida according to the FHSAA rankings. Following a strong 30-10 win over Vanguard last Saturday, they will look to keep it rolling tonight against Gainesville. The Hurricanes, on the other hand, have been far from perfect. Gainesville hosts Holt's looking for just its 2nd win on the season, as they sit with a less than pretty 1-5 record. With only 4 games remaining, the Hurricanes hope to spin into a positive trajectory as they close out the season. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. 2 more teams are in action tonight as Oak Hall hosts Harvest Community. The 5-0 Eagles are also looking to remain perfect with a win tonight. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Also kicking off tonight is the Gators soccer team as they lace up the boots for a matchup with Mississippi State at home. After 3 straight losses and a draw, the Gators got back on track last Friday with a 4-0 domination of LSU in Baton Rouge. Florida now sits with a 5-3-3 record as the team looks to capitalize on its momentum and add to the win column tonight. The Gators have looked strong at home so far, boasting a 3-1-1 record as hosts. The Bulldogs currently hold a 6-3-3 record, but only one of those wins came on the road as they sit with a 1-1-2 record away from home. Florida will look to capitalize on home field advantage tonight. First kick is set for 6 p.m. Back to the hash marks we go as the Florida Gators football team gets set for a homecoming matchup with Vanderbilt in the Swamp on Saturday. Florida took a crushing 33-14 loss on the road to Kentucky this past weekend. In the loss, the Gators' strong running game was outshined by Wildcats running back Ray Davis, who torched Florida's defense for 280 rush yards and 4 total touchdowns. Davis was truly dominant, averaging 10.8 yards per carry on 26 attempts. Florida running back Montrell Johnson Jr. talked about how the Gators' own running game plans to get back in form.
I'm very confident. They just had a magnificent practice today. They had the mindset that no one's going to beat us on the ground ever again, you know, and I think that's all the mentality, and I think that we took that and ran with it after, you know, the last game, and I think that we're going to be great going forward.
The Gators will get the opportunity to prove just how great they can be as they welcome Vanderbilt to the Swamp at 4 p.m. on Saturday. That's all we have for sports today. I'm Jack Alperstein.
Thanks, Jack. Now, finally from us, 3 orphan manatees have returned to Zoo Tampa in preparation for their release into the wild.
After their rescues in 2021, they were transferred to the Cincinnati Zoo where they could grow. Upon their return, veterinary and manatee care staff performed health assessments. Piccolina, Soleil, and Calliope were among the tiniest calves ever treated at the zoo's Manatee Critical Care Unit. Now fully grown, Florida Fish and Wildlife is planning for their release in Crystal River in February.
That is so cool. Now, before we go, Daniella, Rudolph will take a look at what the weather looks like in the next coming week.
Daniella, are we going to see a dip in temperatures this October?
Thanks, guys. So we do have this cold front that's going to be making its way south across the state, and it's going to be bringing some really, really chilly weather, some early mornings that are going to be cold. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook to see exactly when the timing is going to be happening. Look at that dip to 76 for the morning, and then we're going into those morning temperatures of 46 on Monday. So it's going to be a really, really cold week.
Thanks, Daniella. Be sure to join us tomorrow for our coverage of the 100th Homecoming Parade starting at 11:45 a.m. on WUFT-TV and on Facebook and on YouTube.
But your Florida news is always at WUFT.org. Have a great night.